Hi, everyone. I'm Patrick Lloyd, and I'm the instructor for this course for General Chemistry 2, our in-person section 02. I will be the instructor for the lecture and also for the laboratory. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the course syllabus pretty briefly, but give you a little sense and a head start on this. So if you're new to Brightspace, this is our first semester where we're using Brightspace at Kingsborough instead of using Blackboard. This is the homepage for this course on Brightspace. It's 02. There's a separate page for the laboratory 02L, but this one was the one for the lecture. Okay, so on the homepage, I'm putting the links to the practice exams. So there's only one up right now, but I'm going to add more as the semester goes along. There's one practice exam here that you can link to. The announcements are over here on the right side. Here's an announcement about the syllabus. So you can access the syllabus just by clicking on this link here. And then, as I said, the announcements will show up over here. So I do recommend that you check the homepage of Brightspace at least a couple times a week. I would say probably check it on Monday and then check it again on Thursday. We're meeting on Friday, so it's a good idea to check it on Thursday just to see if there's any new information or new files that have been put up there. But check it a couple times a week. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the syllabus here, and then I'm going to go over the syllabus together. Okay. Okay. So again, it's section 02. My preferred communication form outside of the classroom, of course, is either email or texting. I have several of the texting apps. I have WhatsApp, I have Signal, I have Telegram. Just make sure when you send your first message, you let me know, which class you're in. You could just say, hey, I'm in the Friday Chem 12. You don't have to give the exact section number or anything like that. Just say I'm in the Friday in-person class, and then give me your full name so I know who you are. Okay. My cell number is right here, 347-249-5676. My email's right here. Sometimes this is written as patrick.lloyd@kbcc.cuny.edu, but P. Lloyd also works. Just make sure you put 2 L's in there. I do have a regular office hour this semester, and that is on Thursdays from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. If you want to meet me another time, we can try to arrange it. Just get in touch with me. My office is S316. And I do put some videos up on YouTube. So this is a link to those videos that I put up. Our lectures are Fridays, 9:15. The course schedule says 9:10, but I usually start about 9:15. And then we go till about 12:15, and then we take a little break and then do the laboratory after. First class is September 6th, so make sure you're there for the first meeting. We will be going over course material the first meeting. Okay. So this is a second semester of general chemistry. So the assumption here is that everybody's taken and passed the first semester general chemistry, that you have some algebra experience. These are the topics we're going to cover in the course. We do kinetics, chemical equilibrium, acid-base chemistry. Acid-base chemistry as it pertains to chemical equilibrium, solubility equilibrium, thermodynamics, which is sometimes written as entropy-free energy. And then we go into some electrochemistry and then some nuclear chemistry. Okay, so those are our topics for this course. Again, my office hours. If you want to do an office hour via Zoom, that could be a possibility too. You just get in touch with me and we'll arrange a time that works for both of us. And then this is the meeting ID, and then the password's always the same here, but we would arrange prior to that time to have a meeting. Okay. So what do you need for the course? You do need a computer to do the homework. You'll need a computer to do some of the laboratory work. In particular, the lab reports. So make sure you've got a computer. You can get them on campus. They will loan them out to you for the semester. You do need a scientific calculator, which you'll be using on exams and such. So make sure, and in the laboratory. So make sure you have that. The course learning system and the course ebook, the textbook is all in one package. It's called Alex. This is a direct link to buy it. You can get it at the bookstore. It's more expensive there. And I'm not sure they even have the correct link right now. So your best bet, if you don't have it, is to get it directly through McGraw-Hill, and their website is alex.com. Okay. Prices have gone up, unfortunately, quite a bit this semester. If you already have it from a previous semester, generally people buy it for 1 year. So if you still have a good 3 months left in your subscription, you're set. You can just enter in the new course and you'll be fine. The textbook is Julia Burge. It's called Chemistry by Julia Burge. It's the 5th edition, 6th edition sometimes is as well. If you want an actual physical copy, you can get it on Bookfinder. Just enter in Julia Burge Chemistry 5th edition or 6th edition or 4th edition or 3rd edition. The physical textbook, it doesn't really matter which edition you have. Anyone will work. And you get them pretty cheap if you want. You can probably get one for $8 or something like that. If you do want to do office hours outside the classroom, you'll need to have Zoom on your computer. Here's a little link just how to create an account if you don't have one. The Alex, here's some some registration information. For those of you that have used it before, you know how to go through all this. If you haven't, though, essentially you just follow these instructions and it should work. There's really a couple things you need. One is you need the purchase code, which you would have purchased already. And then you need the class code. The class code is what links it to my course, to the course that I'm teaching this semester, the one you're enrolled in. Okay. And so the course code is a 10-digit. You can just copy and paste this from the syllabus into the program, into the web page, and it'll find it. And, sometimes it says 5th edition, sometimes it says 6th edition, it's a little glitchy, but it should essentially say that it's Patrick Lloyd is the instructor, and the class dates are, August of 2024 through December 2024. And the institution should be Kingsborough Community College. If that information is correct, then you got the right one. It's unlikely you'll have the wrong one if you put that information in, if you get the course code right. Okay. If you haven't purchased it yet, you don't have it, and you need, up to 2 weeks, you can use what's called a financial aid code. The financial aid code is this one right here. It's a 20-digit code. And that gives you 2 weeks access, but just 2 weeks. Okay. Don't confuse it with the course code. The course code has 10 digits. We're using Brightspace, obviously, at Kingsborough this semester. So I don't do a lot of stuff on Brightspace for the in-person courses. There's only one assignment you'll do on Brightspace for the laboratory, and that is, I'll get to that in a little bit. But for the lecture, we don't do online exams or online homework on Brightspace. The Alex is where all that kind of work is done. Okay, so you just need Brightspace mainly for announcements. I do post files. I like the syllabus is there, obviously. Practice exams, I should say. I put those up there. So you do want to, familiarize yourself with Brightspace. And college has courses you can take, like 1-hour sessions where they'll teach you about Brightspace. Works on phone. There's something called Pulse, Pulse, Brightspace Pulse. You put that in, you can download the app, and that'll give you some access. But For this course, it would probably be okay because you don't really have to do any assignments on it. The main thing is you got to get ALEKS because a good portion of your grade comes from the ALEKS work. So make sure you get that. And that gives you access to the ebook as well. So what are we going to learn in this course? We're going to do a bunch of chemistry, right? So we're going to do kinetics, chemical equilibrium, acids and bases, acid-base equilibria, solubility equilibria, entropy, free energy, and how that relates to equilibria, electrochemistry, and the nucleus, okay? So a lot of topics. We're going to go into depth into these topics. You talked a little bit about some of these topics in Chem 11, the first semester Gen Chem. But we're going to go into more of a mathematical, more rigorous analysis of these topics. So we'll do a little bit higher level math than we did in Chem 11. In Chem 11, usually really basic algebra, just being able to manipulate variables is really all you got to do, scientific notation. Here we're going to do some logarithms and we'll do some exponential calculations, a little bit more algebra. No, not much, no trig. We don't do any trigonometry. It's mainly algebra. But many people are not that familiar with logs or exponentials, so we'll talk a little bit about those in the course. Those are essential to doing some of the problems, okay? I do have a bunch of course videos on YouTube that I've generated, which cover a lot of different topics, like just the main topics or lecture on the topics, but also problem solving on ALEKS. So sometimes you can find some of these problems on ALEKS that I've done. And they're broken down. These are little sections, folders. I'm sorry. These are folders for each chapter right through there. There isn't much on the nucleus yet. I haven't made much for that, but I'm going to try to do some this semester. And if I have time, I will try to do some more videos for here to update them a little bit. More towards the detail of the problems you guys are doing on ALEKS. But a bunch of the problems that you do for homework are solved. I show you how to solve those problems here. Okay. So a little bit about the ALEKS. It's 60% of your course grade, so more than half, right? So if you just do the homework and you get all the homework done, you're going to get a pretty good grade in this course, quite frankly. So you have these homework assignments, which they call objectives. Sometimes they call them modules or objectives, but these are assignments, one for each chapter. So each chapter has anywhere from 10 to 12 problems that you have to do. And you don't get like points taken off for getting them wrong. It just doesn't let you do the next one until you finally get it right. And you do have to get it right 3 times in a row. You do the same problem like 3 times. So it says here these topics, which are like a particular question. There's 10 to 15 in each module, each chapter. It's really, I think, 10 or 12. I think I toned it down. I used to have like 20 problems per chapter, but now since you're going to be in class more, that's taking up a lot of time. I've toned it down to about 10 to 12 per chapter. Okay. So again, each module or objective essentially is a chapter. And so here's the actual breakdown for each chapter: 12, 12, 12, 10, 12, 10, 10. And those are the titles of the chapters. And these are the due dates, okay? So you don't get full credit if you turn them in late. So make sure you turn them in on time, get them done. Not turn them in, but submit them. You don't actually formally have to submit them. It keeps a record of which ones you've done. And once you've got them all done for that particular module, it says, congratulations, you finished this module. You can now work ahead onto the next module. Okay. So it's not a situation where, I did all the problems, but it didn't give me credit for it because I didn't hit submit. It'll automatically update what you've done. Okay. So look at the due dates. The first one is the 19th of September, Thursday. I have them all for Thursday nights. Okay. So everything's due Thursday night, the night before we come to class, right? So the 19th is kinetics. That's your first one. So you got to have that first one done the 19th. Now, here's what happens if you don't complete it. And most people will miss this point, or some people will miss this point, and I'll have to explain it again later. What happens is, let's say for kinetics, out of those 12 topics, you did 9, and then boom, it's midnight Thursday night. You missed, you're done. You got 9 out of 12. What it will do is it will give you a score of 75%. 9 out of 12 is 75%. Now, if you go on, now the next assignment comes up. It's not going to let you work on that anymore. If you finish chemical equilibrium before October 3rd, let's say you finish it October 1st, a couple days early, you get all 12 topics done. It will open up the problems that you didn't complete from the previous chapter and from all the previous chapters that you didn't complete. It will allow you to go back and do those. Okay. Now you don't get full credit for it. You get about 70% credit if you do it. So if you don't get them all done at the right time, you don't get 100%, but it will give you about 75%, 75% credit for doing it late. Okay. So you can do that. So sometimes, what'll happen is like, there might be one problem for every chapter you're really struggling with. So then when you get to this last one, you can like get some extra help and tutoring and then figure out how to do these one problem. And then if you can finish the last one, let's say December 8th, you could go back and do that one problem from all those chapters you missed and get get some of the credit back for that. Okay. Generally, if I've never seen a situation where someone got all the ALEKS done and didn't get a good grade. If you get all the ALEKS done, you're going to get a good grade in the course because the problems in there are pretty challenging. Some of them are pretty challenging. So if you can do those, the tests will be easy and the lab won't be too big. It really comes down to your self-discipline. And that's really what this course is all about. And that's to a large extent what college is about. It's just some self-discipline, making sure that you do work every day. I do recommend don't do a situation where it's the due date is Thursday night and Wednesday night you decide to put 8 hours into doing it. I have seen people succeed at that, but it's not a very good way. Try to do an hour to an hour and a half, 2 to 3 times a week, and that will get you through much better. Okay. So the the problems, it says here assignments, but again, these assignments are really modules or objectives. There are brief explanations of the problems. The explanations are pretty high level, complicated wording and stuff, but they are explanations. You also have access to the ebook. You can meet me in office hours. If there's a particular ALEKS problem you're having a problem with, and we're in class, you can ask about that too as well. Okay. So here's some of that, that math about how many you complete and all that. You may run into what are called knowledge checks. You will certainly run into an initial knowledge check. Take these seriously. You don't get points for them. You don't get points taken off for them, but they test what you know. And so just follow the instructions, put 30 to 45 minutes into the knowledge check. If you really don't know, just say, I don't know. But if you do know, do the problem, okay? And then there's a little more stuff here about pi progress. You can read that over. The exams are 16% of your course grade. You're going to have 3 exams and then a final exam. Each exam covers 2 chapters, and then the final is cumulative. The final covers everything, okay? 14 through 20. Laboratory assignments, 24% of your grade. Okay. So, there's lab procedures. Here's a link to the lab procedures. Make sure that you download those and print them out, and you want to bring them to the lab. Here's the calendar. Meeting 1, you're just going to do a check-in and safety lecture we'll do. And then I'm going to introduce you to some of quantitative analysis. So you're not going to be doing an experiment yourself that day. That first day, you don't need to bring a lab coat or goggles. Second meeting 2, which I assume would be the 13th of September. You got to have your lab coat. You got to have your safety goggles. And there's no bookstore anymore. So that means you got to get them on Amazon or something like that. Okay. So move ahead toward getting a lab coat, getting safety goggles. Okay. And then these are all procedures that are given. There's links to them right here. Okay. So these are the names right here with their experiment number. And then this right here is a link to where you find those. They're at the Kingsborough website. Okay. So you don't have to buy a lab manual. So they're there, but you gotta bring them, to lab, okay? There also is a link to demos of all these experiments. You can see a lab instructor do them for you, so you can see how it is. So that way, when you come in the lab, you're more familiar with what you're gonna be doing, because some of the procedures are a little complicated. So if you can watch beforehand, that could help you. So here's some of our rules. You gotta bring the lab coat, meetings 2 through 12. Gotta bring safety goggles, meetings through 2 through 12. In terms of rubber gloves, we have a requirement, you have to have rubber gloves. We probably will have them for you, okay? So if you want to bring your own, you can, but you got to bring a lab coat and you got to bring goggles, okay? The grading for the labs here, it's about coming on time, bringing your goggles, bringing your lab coat, bringing your paper copy of the experimental procedure, not on your phone, not on an iPad. You got to bring a piece of paper. It's got to be in paper. I'm going to give you a short pre-lab quiz. Pre-lab means it's going to cover the material that you're going to do that day. So you should pre-read the lab experiment. Demonstrate evidence that you've read the laboratory. That's up to 5 points for that. So like if you're in the lab and I can tell that you haven't read this, you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get a 0 for the day. Okay, that's sort of a performance score. And then at the end of the day, we'll have you turn in like a little report sheet that's worth 5 points. Okay. It's really just a copy of your data, that sort of stuff. And then there will be a lab report that you have to do, not for every experiment, but for some of the lab experiments. And that one you have at least a week. Some of the experiments I give you 2 weeks to do them. So that's worth 15 points. So it ends up being about 10 experiments because the first meeting we're just doing a demo and stuff like that. So there's 10 experiments that get graded. So it ends up being 350 points. Okay. And that'll be your lab score. And again, your lab score is 24% of your course grade. Okay. You don't get a separate grade for lab and for lecture. I just take your percentage in your lab and roll that into your overall grade. Course grading. Okay, here's a little breakdown. You can use this throughout the semester. You got your Alex score. Really what you can do is you can just combine these two. Alex will give you an overall score. It'll just say, hey, overall in Alex, you got a 92. So you can just add these two together, or you can do it separately. So 0.4 times 92, 0.2 times 92, or you can add them together, 0.6 times 92. That'll give you a number here. 0.24 times whatever your lab percentage is, 0.16 times whatever your average exam score is, and boom, you got that there. Add them up, that gives you your overall percentage. And then this is the breakdown for the grades, okay? And here's our calendar. First week on the 6th, we're going to do an introduction, but mainly we're going to cover chapter 14. I get into it very quickly because you got some homework assignment to work on. We're only meeting once a week, so I got to get you started, really give you some material on that. I don't have any, you don't have to take in a test the first couple meetings, but we're going to cover chapter 14. Second meeting, which is the 13th, we're going to do chapter 14. We'll finish chapter 14 and start on 15. The third meeting, which is on the 20th, we'll do 15 and start on 16. And then the 27th, we're going to do 16, but you're going to take an exam. And the exam will cover 14 and 15. I give you an hour and a half for that exam, okay? Again, there's a practice exam, which is linked in Brightspace. You can take a look. And then we just keep going. Essentially, it's two weeks per chapter, and then you have exams. So we get to November. We missed some time there. So notice it's 9/27, so that's September 27. We don't meet again until the 18th of October because of holidays, right? But I'm hoping you will not spend, 2.5 weeks of not working on it or 3 weeks not working on anything, because you will have some homework, the Alex assignments are due at certain dates. So make sure you're going to be working on those. And then, again, exam 2 is on chapter 16 and 17. And then exam 3. Now, this is a Tuesday meeting here. And we'll have to decide what to do. I could probably put a video online. The issue is laboratory, so we have to put that in your calendar. Okay. That's Tuesday, that's the Tuesday of Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving, I think, is the 28th. So it's that week. So it's a ways away, but keep that in mind. And then December 6th is that's when you do exam 3. And then we come back on the 13th and we do a final. Okay, so the final exam. And that'll be it for all the assignments and all that kind of stuff. These are just optional practice problems from the ebook. Quite frankly, people don't do them anymore because they're so busy with the Alex problems, getting ready for exams, doing lab reports. I don't expect you to do those. The Alex is essentially superseded this right here. So, but if you want some extra problems from the textbook, these are ones you can do. With the ebook, it's nice because the answers, you just click on it and it'll tell you what the answer is. So you can check how you did. Okay. If you're going to go on and do, pharmacy school or medical school or dental school, look, this is an important course for that because you're going to have some questions on Gen Chem. So you might want to do these as well, practice for extra practice. Okay. These are just some links for things to help you. There is tutoring available in L605. I think I have a little, yeah. So here's their website. Here's how you can sign up for it. And let's see, anything else? If you have problems with, oh, this is good. Alex support. So sometimes people have problems with Alex. You probably won't because you're not doing virtual labs. But if you have problems with your accounts or anything like that, technical issues, browser problems, here's their phone number. Here's a link to them. And I think they're open 7 days a week, but very limited hours on the weekend. I think they're only open for a couple hours. But I think they're even open on Sunday for a couple hours. So be aware of that if you have problems. I can't really help you with the technical problems on Alex. I can help you with the chemistry part, but not the technical. So they know about all the problems if you're trying to do it on an iPad or you're using Safari and stuff. They can help you with that and registration problems and all that. Okay. These are just the course outcomes and all that. So again, probably what we'll do is, I will spend maybe just like 2 or 3 minutes on this syllabus on our first meeting. If you have a specific question coming in, I can answer it, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on going over the syllabus because you can watch this video. You can watch it more than once if you want to. We're going to get into the kinetics. That's the main thing is we're going to work on kinetics. Okay. So let me come back over here and bring up the Brightspace homepage again, just so you can see that. Okay. So again, we'll talk more about the laboratory separately. But again, practice exams are going to be in this folder over here. There's a link to it. There's one there right now for first exam. And the exams will be very similar to these practice exams. Okay. So, as you go through the material, if you have any questions about the practice exam, the answers are there too. But if you have questions about them, you can ask those too. Again, here's the announcements over here. So check your announcements at least a couple times a week. Again, I recommend probably Monday and Thursday would be a good time to check those. I'm not going to make the announcements limited in terms of dates, so they'll always be up here. But sometimes in the announcements, I will put links. So, like the syllabus and that sort of thing there. Okay. Once I start putting stuff into the laboratory Brightspace, because that's a separate one, I'll let you know. But at some point, I will start putting things into the Brightspace on the laboratory, which is a separate section. Okay. So I look forward to this course. It's a great course. It leads you into organic chemistry if you're going to go on to take that, particularly the kinetics and equilibrium and thermodynamics, I should say, very connected to organic chemistry. It's an important course if you're going to go into any of these professional programs like dental, pharmacy, medical, veterinary. Any of those programs is very important for that as well. And obviously, if you're a chemistry major, it's important. It's also helpful for those of you who are engineering majors because in engineering, you have to do thermodynamics as well. So this gives you a chemical approach to thinking about thermodynamics, which is an important topic in engineering as well. Okay. So I look forward to the class, look forward to meeting you all. Be there the first meeting, September 6th, and we'll meet then. Take care.